3 easy tips for less frequent urination at night. Have you ever asked yourself why the quiet of night so often gets interrupted by repeated trips to the bathroom, stealing away your sleep and leaving you weary at dawn? Medical studies, including those from the Mayo Clinic, confirm that one nightly visit can be normal, yet waking up 2 or 3 times may reflect changes in bladder capacity, hormone levels, or even daily drinking habits. These broken nights do not just cost you rest, they also strain your heart, affect memory, and slowly chip away at your energy. The good news is that nocturia is not destiny. Gentle adjustments, supported by research, can retrain your bladder and restore more peaceful sleep without the need for complex treatments. In this video, I will share 3 clear and practical steps you can begin tonight to reduce those nightly awakenings. Stay with me until the end, because the last tip often makes the biggest difference. And now let us smoothly move into the first solution together. Tip number 1, smart drinking habits. Many people enjoy sipping tea or water late at night and then complain that age is the reason they wake up multiple times to use the bathroom. In reality, the body does need plenty of water, but it needs that water earlier in the day when organs are most active, when most fluids are taken in just before bed. The bladder is forced to handle more volume at the wrong time, and that creates unnecessary nighttime trips. What feels like the natural decline of aging is often just a matter of timing. Take John, a 68-year-old man who had a nightly habit of drinking tea before going to sleep. For years, he thought his 3 nightly bathroom visits were an unavoidable part of getting older. Then he made a simple change, moving his tea to late afternoon and cutting back on fluids after 7 in the evening. Within 2 weeks, he was waking only once at night, and his mornings felt clearer and more energized. His experience shows how small adjustments can bring back control and peace of mind. To better understand why this works, it helps to know how the bladder functions. The bladder is a hollow muscular sac that stores urine produced by the kidneys. It can usually hold between 400 and 500 milliliters before the urge to urinate becomes strong. As the bladder fills, stretch receptors in its wall send signals to the brain, telling you it is time to empty. When we are younger, the bladder muscle is strong and elastic, allowing it to expand comfortably. After 60, however, the muscle fibers lose some of their strength and flexibility, which makes the bladder more irritable and quicker to signal urgency. Another factor is the hormone vasopressin, which helps the kidneys make concentrated urine at night. With age, vasopressin levels often drop, meaning the kidneys produce larger amounts of dilute urine while you sleep. This combination of weaker bladder muscles and higher nighttime urine volume makes it much easier to wake up 2 or 3 times, especially if you have been drinking before bed. By understanding this process in simple terms, you can see how the bladder is not failing, but reacting to conditions we can influence. The most effective solution is to hydrate earlier in the day. Start your morning with a full glass of water, continue drinking small amounts throughout the afternoon, and aim to meet your body's needs well before bedtime. After dinner, ease back on fluids, and after 7 o'clock, keep intake minimal unless you feel truly thirsty. Be cautious with beverages like coffee, tea, and alcohol, which not only increase urine production but also irritate the bladder lining. For many people, simply avoiding these stimulants in the evening can make a dramatic difference. These strategies do not mean depriving your body of water, but rather respecting its natural rhythm. By timing hydration with daytime activity, you help your kidneys and bladder work when your body is awake, instead of when it should be resting. Over time, this retrains your bladder to remain calmer at night, allowing for longer, more restorative sleep. Better sleep not only reduces fatigue but also protects memory, mood, and heart health. If you are ready to try this first step, I encourage you to comment with the number 1 below as a personal commitment to begin adjusting your evening drinking habits. It may seem too simple, but science and experience show that even small steps can have powerful results. You deserve nights of deep rest and mornings full of energy, and this is one of the easiest ways to start moving toward that goal. When you have learned to manage your fluid intake and given your bladder the calm it needs, the next step is to strengthen the muscles that support it. By building these pelvic floor muscles, you can reduce urgency even more and continue reclaiming peaceful, uninterrupted nights of sleep. Tip number 2, Pelvic floor exercises in bed. Did you know that spending just 5 minutes each night doing simple exercises while lying in bed can significantly reduce the number of times you wake up to urinate? Many people think that bladder control is only about how much water you drink, but the truth is that the strength of the muscles supporting your bladder plays an equally important role. These muscles are called the pelvic floor, and when they are weak, the bladder feels heavier, the urge to urinate becomes stronger, and sleep becomes restless. By gently training them, you can bring back balance and control without medication. The pelvic floor acts like a hammock of muscles that stretches from the pubic bone to the tailbone. It supports the bladder, the bowel, and in men, the prostate as well. When these muscles weaken with age, surgery, or lack of use, the bladder presses down more easily and the urethra cannot stay closed effectively. This creates urgency, leakage, and frequent nighttime trips. Strengthening the pelvic floor is like giving your bladder a stronger foundation to rest on. Studies from Harvard Health confirm that targeted exercises improve bladder control, reduce urgency, and can even improve sexual confidence in older men. Michael, a 72-year-old man, learned this lesson after prostate surgery. At first, he was waking multiple times each night and felt anxious about leakage during the day. His sleep was broken, and he lost confidence in intimacy. After being introduced to pelvic floor training, he committed to 5 minutes each night while lying in bed. Within a month, his nighttime bathroom trips decreased dramatically, and he began sleeping longer stretches. Even more encouraging, he felt more secure during the day and regained confidence in his relationship. His story shows how small, consistent actions can transform both health and quality of life. The science is simple. When pelvic floor muscles contract, they lift the bladder slightly and tighten the urethra, the tube that carries urine out. This makes it easier to resist the urge until the bladder is truly full. When these muscles are weak, the pressure of even small amounts of urine can trigger the signal to go. Over time, this miscommunication between the bladder and the brain creates a cycle of urgency and frequent urination. By training the muscles, you restore proper support and improve the accuracy of those signals. Here is how you can practice. Lie on your back in bed with your knees slightly bent and your body relaxed. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, gently tighten the muscles you would use to stop yourself from passing gas or to hold back urine. Hold that contraction for about 3 seconds, then slowly release and rest for another 3 seconds. Repeat this sequence 10 to 15 times, which should take about 5 minutes in total. Focus on breathing calmly and avoid tightening your stomach, legs, or buttocks, because the goal is to isolate the pelvic floor. This simple routine, done daily, can make a real difference in a few weeks. For best results, treat it like brushing your teeth, a daily ritual that maintains health quietly but powerfully. If you want to build even more strength, you can add a second session during the day. For example, contract your pelvic floor muscles while sitting at a desk, waiting at a red light, or walking slowly. These short, hidden exercises train your muscles to stay active in real-life situations. Over time, they become second nature, and your bladder control improves without extra effort. Some people worry that these exercises might be difficult or tiring, but remember, they are gentle and designed for all ages. If you find it challenging to identify the right muscles, imagine you are trying to stop your urine flow mid-streams. That sensation points you to the correct area. Doctors recommend not actually practicing during urination because that can confuse the bladder reflex. But once you learn the feeling, you can train anytime, anywhere. The key is consistency, not intensity. The benefits extend beyond the bladder. Strong pelvic floor muscles also protect spinal stability, improve posture, and support bowel control. For men recovering from prostate surgery, regular training has been shown to shorten recovery time for continence and restore confidence in sexual health. These broad advantages make pelvic floor exercises one of the most valuable habits you can adopt after 60s. If you are ready to take back some control tonight, leave a comment with the number 2 as your way of committing to begin this 5-minute bedtime routine. The steps are simple, the effort is small, but the rewards can be life-changing. Better sleep, fewer awakenings, and restored confidence are within reach, starting right where you already are, in your own bed. Now that we have explored how strengthening the pelvic floor can calm the bladder and reduce nighttime urgency, It is time to look at a habit that seems harmless, but often makes the problem worse. This is a behavior many people develop without realizing, and learning to change it may be the most important step of all. Tip number 3, breaking the just-in-case habit. Have you ever gone to the bathroom 4 or 5 times within half an hour before bed, hoping it would guarantee a full night of rest? Many people believe this habit will help them sleep longer, but in reality, it often makes things worse by urinating when the bladder is not truly full. You are teaching your brain to expect frequent trips, and this false signal creates a cycle of constant urgency. Instead of helping, the just-in-case approach confuses the system and keeps you trapped in restless nights. Richard, a 70-year-old retiree, lived with this habit for years. Every evening he would visit the bathroom repeatedly, convinced that emptying just a little more would buy him uninterrupted sleep. Still, he woke several times each night and grew frustrated. After committing to change, he limited himself to 2 bathroom visits before bed, one an hour earlier and one right before turning off the light. For the first few nights it felt uncomfortable, but after a month he noticed a profound difference. He was sleeping 6 straight hours without waking. His story shows that patience and discipline can retrain the body and give back the peace that seemed lost. The science behind this is simple but powerful. The bladder has a functional capacity, which refers to how much it can comfortably hold before signaling the need to void. When you urinate too often, especially when the bladder is only partially full, you shrink this functional capacity. Over time, the bladder begins sending urgency signals at lower and lower volumes, tricking you into believing you need to go even when there is very little urine inside. This conditioned response becomes a self-reinforcing loop that disrupts both sleep and confidence. By breaking the just-in-case habit, you help restore the bladder's natural tolerance. The solution is practical. Limit bathroom visits to only twice in the final hour before bed. First, go about 1 hour before sleep, giving your body a chance to empty. Then, go again right before lying down. After that, commit to staying in bed. If the urge comes, try pelvic floor exercises, deep breathing, or focusing on relaxation techniques. These methods reassure the brain that it does not need to respond to every small signal. In time, the bladder relearns how to store urine comfortably. Dr. David often reminds patients that retraining the bladder is not about a single night, but about consistency over weeks. The nervous system and bladder muscles need 3 to 4 weeks to form a new pattern. During this time, you may still feel some urgency, but if you stay patient, the brain adjusts, and the urges grow weaker. It is important to understand that this process is safe. You are not harming the bladder by waiting longer. You are teaching it to function properly again. With practice, the result is fewer awakenings and deeper, more restorative rest. Breaking old habits can feel challenging, especially when they are tied to comfort and routine. Yet this step is one of the most empowering because it gives control back to you rather than the bladder. Each night, you resist the unnecessary trips. You strengthen the communication between your brain and your body. Over time, the reward is not only uninterrupted sleep, but also greater confidence in daily life. Knowing you can trust your bladder reduces anxiety, supports social activities, and improves overall quality of living. If you are ready to take this important step, I invite you to comment with the number 3 below. By doing so, you make a small public promise to yourself that you will begin letting go of the just-in-case habit tonight. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but every journey begins with a first step, and the body responds more quickly than most people expect. Your efforts will pay off with longer sleep, brighter mornings, and renewed energy. We have now explored 3 practical and natural solutions: drinking smartly, strengthening the pelvic floor, and breaking the habit of unnecessary trips. Each of these steps is simple, but together they form a powerful plan for taking back your nights. Now it is time to gather everything we have learned and reflect on the deeper meaning these changes can bring. We have now walked together through 3 simple yet powerful steps that can transform your nights. The first step is learning to drink smart, giving your body the water it needs earlier in the day while allowing your bladder to rest in the evening. The second step is building strength in your pelvic floor muscles, a 5-minute practice that lifts and supports your bladder so it no longer overwhelms you with urgency. The third step is letting go of the just-in-case habit, training your brain and bladder to work in harmony instead of chasing false signals. Each of these practices is gentle, natural, and fully within your reach. It is important to remember that waking often at night is not a destiny written in stone. While aging can bring changes to the bladder and hormones, you still have control over how your body responds. Science shows that habits and daily choices make a real difference in how often you wake to urinate. By adjusting when you drink, strengthening the muscles that hold your bladder, and retraining your brain away from unnecessary signals, you can reclaim deep rest. Nocturia does not need to control your life, and every step you take is proof that you still hold the power. You deserve to wake each morning feeling renewed, instead of dragging yourself out of bed several times in the dark, exhausted and frustrated. You deserve to enjoy peaceful hours of sleep without fear of being interrupted. Most of all, you deserve to know that age does not take away your ability to change and improve your health. These steps are not complicated, they do not require medication, and they can be started right where you are. Tonight, so let this be your encouragement. You are stronger than you think, and your body can still learn new patterns with patience and care. Small choices, repeated daily, become powerful habits that reshape your nights and protect your long-term health. Imagine the relief of sleeping 6 or 7 hours without interruption, and imagine the joy of waking with energy instead of fatigue. That future is possible, and it begins with the small actions we discussed today. If you are ready to start, I invite you to make a simple commitment. Leave a comment with the number 1 if you will begin drinking earlier in the day, with the number 2 if you will try pelvic floor exercises tonight, or with the number 3 if you will work on breaking the just-in-case habit. And while you are here, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share it with someone who may also need these reminders. You are not alone in this journey, and together we can create a community of strength, knowledge, and hope. You truly deserve nights of peace and mornings of vitality. No longer walking wearily to the bathroom, but resting with confidence. Stay with us, because your health, your strength, and your freedom matter, and every step forward is a step toward a better tomorrow.